Hello. Hello, welcome back to Roslyn Court. My name's Morag Butler, and tonight, live and with a live audience, we have Jez Lowe. Very excited about that. And, of course, as exciting as having Jez Lowe is, we do have to talk about the raffle, which everybody who's in the room here, you've all been entered for the raffle. The first prize for the raffle is a CD. Hooray! Where is it? Where is it? Behind me. No, it's not. CD, yeah. Jez Lowe CD and the Bad Pennies. The second prize, which is the one you're all going for, is a Who Gives a Crap toilet roll. Okay. Anyone who contributes to donations to Jez Lowe this evening, you all get entered for the raffle, and it would be really, really good if everyone who watched this evening actually contributed as much as they could. You know, even a small amount would be great. And if you can't, I know everyone can't, yeah? So if you contribute to the live chat, you will also, people at home, person at home, you will also be entered in for the raffle. So you have a big chance of winning that toilet roll. Way. So that's good. So first thing that happens traditionally in this sort of event is that somebody gets up from the crowd and sings a song. So that's what I'm going to do. So at home, you can all now put the kettle on, go to the toilet or something like that. It's not a long one. Oh, how exciting. Shall I unthingy it? Better? Can you hear it now? It's probably better before.
To my love, if I would dare, for the waters of time lie between him and me, and here I must stand with a tear in my eye, oh, sobbing and sighing, my true love to see. Oh, where is the boatman? Oh, my bonny hinny. Oh, where is the boatman? Please bring him to me, for to carry me over the time to me, hinny. And I will remember the boatman and thee. I'll pay any money, and you for your trouble rewarded will be if you ferry me over the time to me, hinny. Oh, scull him across the rough water to me. To my love, if I would see, for the waters of time lie between him and me, and here I must stand with a tear in my eye, oh, sobbing and sighing, my true love to see.
If you look that song up on Google, it will tell you that Sting wrote it. He did not. Yeah, Gordon Sumner, it says. Gordon Sumner knew my mother, just out of interest. Yeah. Right, now it's time for Jez Lowe to come onto the stage. We know him from Jez Lowe, we know him from the Bad Pennies, we know him from the Pitman Poets, the radio ballads. So, who knows which of his songs was voted Song of the Year on one of the radio stations? Come on. I got it off your website. well, you haven't done your homework, have you? Yeah. The wrong bus. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, that's what it says. I read it, so it must be true. It was down on the page. Okay, welcome onto the stage, please. Jez Lowe.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Very nice to be here. Isn't this great? I can hear music coming from somewhere. That makes a change. That was a lovely song from Morag from the northeast of England. My songs are from the northeast of England as well. Some old songs of mine tonight, but some new ones as well. I'll probably start with 3 or 4 of my older songs. And you're all spread out. It's like being at Wimbledon. It's great. Not that I've ever been at Wimbledon. Can I also say that I've got my heart set on the toilet roll? And it's quite a way down from the northeast down to this part of the world, but worth it to see you all. I'll start off with a song about a fella who's also on a long journey. It's a journey he didn't really want to make. He's nearly at the end of the journey, but he's still not very happy about it. The place that he's headed to is a place called Tether's End. He's a man at the end of his tether, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Are you allowed to sing along and join in folk music style tonight? If you want to do that, please do on any of the songs. On this one, I sing a bit at the chorus thing. It says, "Come along with me, my friend. I'm travelling to Tether's End." You can sing back to me. "I'm getting closer every day." Think of it as therapy, singing that. So this is Tether's End. Crossroads as the clock struck 1 to Tether's End I'm bound. Flat, broken hearted, bruised and burned, cash-strapped and gun-scabbed from lessons never learned. Up another junction, not knowing where to turn. Oh, come along with me, my friend. I'm travelling to Tether's End. Getting closer every day. I'm getting closer every day. I went down to the crossroads as the clock struck 2 to Tether's End I'm bound. That north country never landed, never passed the post. Guardian angels, patron saints had given up the ghost. Battalions of rapscallions had left us all for toast. Oh, come along with me, my friend. I'm travelling to Tether's End. I'm getting closer every day. I'm getting closer every day. I went down to the crossroads as the clock struck 8 and 9 and 10 to Tether's End I'm bound. I'd work me broken fingers back if only I could. But there's only open spaces where working places stood, and the dreaded overfed have displaced the great and good. Oh, come along with me, my friend. I'm travelling to Tether's End. I'm getting closer every day. Oh, this way, that way, which way do you go? Wise old wives say the devil only knows. So I went down to the crossroads as midnight tolled to Tethers End I'm bound. There stood a posh politician with a heart as black as coal, long silver tongue wrapped around a pot of gold. He said, I don't want your vote, son, I'm coming for your soul. Come along with me, my friend. I'm traveling at Tethers End. I'm getting closer every day. I'm getting closer every day. I'm getting closer every day. Thank you. Here are a couple of songs with sort of like an industrial background to them. Do you remember Industry? It was great, wasn't it? The first song is about the demise of the shipbuilding industry on the rivers in the northeast of England. We used to be known as the land of three rivers. The River Tees at the bottom, River Wear. There's another one. Oh, the Tyne, of course, yes. And they were all shipbuilding rivers back in the day. Not anymore, of course. And this song, it was written for a BBC radio series that I was involved in for a long time, called the Radio Ballads, based on the Ewan MacColl radio ballads of the 1950s and 60s, which were very famous and very groundbreaking. And then about 15 years ago, we did a sort of a takeoff of that, really, a modern version of the radio ballads. And this is from the Ballad of the Big Ships. This song's called Taking on Men. Again, if you want to sing along and join in, please do. There's a bit Taking on Men. I pronounce it Taking on Men. Is that okay down here? You're all right with that? I know sometimes when I play in the south of England, you know, places like Barnsley and Harrogate and places like that, when I say Taking on Men, they're thinking I'm saying techno men or something, like it's some sort of breed of Geordie superheroes. But it's not. It's Taking on Men. Goes like this. There's a call on the dock that they're taking on men. They're taking on men. Idle time's over. They're taking on men. Get out of your bed and get down, men. Well, there's talk of big paybacks, 15-month contracts for skilled men and labourers, clerks and apprentices. Oh, Swan shouts to Neptune, they're taking on men, and they're heading in droves to the river. And the gates are wide open, they're taking on men, they're taking on men. There's keels to be laid in dry dock and dry pen, to build on a fine reputation. Well, there's good lads have died for it, fought with the Clyde for it, rivaled with Barrow from Wallsend to Giallo. Now it's gone in our favour, it's good times again. I tell you, it's just like the old days. And that sweet ring of chains means they're taking on men, try it. They're taking on men, and steel scraping concrete, they're taking on men. It's a lullaby straight off the water. Well, they'll hold plate and pipe as the language gets ripe. There'll be bells ringing, horns blaring, crack of the dawn swearing. Things have never been this good since God knows when. We'll be sneezing in satin in no time. Taking on men, they were taking on men. We took it for granted that them taking on men would always be how we'd make our wages. But some say that needy days turned into greedy days. Now the kings of this industry are Polish and Japanese, and gone are the days they were taking on men. And the quayside's a drunken man's playground. Yes, gone are the days they were taking on men. So get back to your bed and your memories. There's a call on the dock that they're taking on men. They're taking on men. Your idle time's over, they're taking on men. So get out of your bed and get down there. 'Cause they're heading in droves to the river. Thank you. Different industry now, the coal mining industry. I come from a village up there in County Durham called Easington Colliery. They still call it Easington Colliery, even though there's never been a pit there for the last 30 years. But when I was growing up, everybody worked in the coal mine. My dad and my uncles and my cousins and everybody. And they nearly got me, actually. I got away with it by the skin of my teeth. Can you imagine me working in a coal mine? I'm much too sensitive. And as you may know, there's lots of old folk songs about the coal mines from my part of the world, from Tyneside and Durham and Northumberland. And a lot of those old songs were written by the lads themselves who actually worked underground in the pit. They weren't songwriters, they weren't musicians, most of them. They just used to make up these songs for their own amusement, I guess. And nowadays when people sing those old songs, which they still do, and they talk about the lads that wrote them, they refer to them as the Pitman Poets. And this is a song called the Pitman Poets. I'm in a group called the Pitman Poets. And we played down here on the last tour. We did our farewell tour in 2019. I think we played in Ramsgate, I think, is where we played. Canterbury we did as well, that's right, yeah. So we that was the end of the Pitman Poets. But Frank Sinatra-like, we have risen again to do our second farewell tour, which will be about next October time. I don't know if we come in this far south this time. We're doing a lot of gigs, but I don't know where we're going. Usually when the four of us get together, it wasn't our project originally, you know, it was somebody else's project, the Pitman Poets. Then we were, the four people were invited in to the project to become that group. So the group was kind of constructed around us. We're kind of like an aging Geordie version of the Monkees, really, if you can imagine that. And normally when we get together with the Pitman Poets, we sing these old songs, these old mining songs that I was talking about. Well, this is one I wrote for the four of us to sing when we get together. The pitmen poets. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. Our bands to sleep with songs that work has made. Thrill them with black dust bogeymen when day is done. But these ghosts and mighty giants are no fairy tales, but men that walked amongst us once, but now they're gone. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. They jowled and listened as they hacked and picked. A lifetime lit by lamplight, not by sky or sun. And through the ground beneath our feet they chewed. Some were swallowed with a mighty swipe of the earth's own tongue. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. And the women watched and waited, ever strong and bold, laughed and loved despite those many mouths to feed, and damned the fat cat masters and the lies they told, as they sacrificed good men to the gods of gain and greed. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. Then the pulley wheels and white machines grew cold and still. Unions lay broken by deceit and lies. Sad eyes were left to stare down from a pitwood hill. But the glory of the lives they led will never die. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. These things I know, for the pitmen poets told me so. Right, this song, this is a really old song of mine, this one. And goes back to about 1984. I was only 12 when I wrote this one. And this song started its life as just as a harmonica tune. I used to play in a dance band doing country dances and like a barn dance thing. Ceilidh dancing, really, we call it up there. I was in a band in a place called Trimden Grange in County Durham, the Trimden Band. The Trimden Band were formed in 1968, And they kept going until, I was with them about 4 or 5, 6 years in the 1980s, but they kept going until quite recently, about 3 or 4 years ago, they all retired. And in all the time that the Trimden Band was together, they had something like 78 members and one repertoire, which they learned in 1968. And then everybody who joined the band over the years had to learn that repertoire of dances with a caller and everything, and you played. And so what I used to do, because it used to be a bit tedious after like 4 years doing it, it was enjoyable, but it was, you know, you wanted to lift it a bit. So I used to make up tunes on my mouth organ as I'm driving down the road. I hope there's no policeman watching or in there. I used to drive down the road playing the harmonica. I call this my hands-free kit. And I used to be driving around making up tunes, you see. And so I made up this tune on the harmonica, and then I would play it in between the dancers at these barn dances in the hope that just by a process of osmosis there was a remote chance that one of the rest of the band would please learn a new tune. But they never did. So I was left with various little melodies that I'd made up, and this was one of them. I think this one, I thought up the tune for, I don't know if there's any barn dance people, Ceilidh dance people. I know there's at least one in the audience. But this was a sort of a long ways hop step, sort of Nottingham swing sort of dance. So if you want to do a long ways set down here, we can try that. So I had the tune, and then I thought, I'm going to put some words to it. And this is what I did. It goes like this. Honest as they come, I never was a thief until they caught me. And the judge, he said, he saw me hands were red. No matter how I played, he found me guilty. There was no bail off to Durham jail. I went knowing nothing I would save me. Calamities, they always come in threes, and that's how many months it was he gave me. And no, never in the livelong day you'll not find me back in Durham jail. No, never in the livelong day you'll not find me back in Durham jail. It was a great day when first I went astray. The devil took the man that came to tempt me. 'Cause in no time my life was one of crime, and now you see the trouble that's got me. Well, there's 4 bare walls in which to stare. Me board and me lodging's all I paid for. You can't see the turning of the key. To hear it turning back is all you wait for. And no, never in the livelong day you'll not find me back in Durham jail. No, never in the livelong day you'll not find me back in Durham jail. Ah, but sad to say, here I am to stay, with only iron bars around to lean on. I get a cold bath to dampen down my wrath, though it's barely just a month ago I had one. And God knows I need a suit of clothes. You think they could have found the one to fit me? Me boots would be fine if they were both a 9. I'm walking like a fall of stones has hit me. And no, never in the livelong day you'll not find me back in Durham jail. No, never in the livelong day you'll not find me back in Durham jail. And I'm sure that me mother's heart would break to see me in a state of such repentance. I'm glad she's not around to see, and I'll be out before she finishes her sentence. The sun will shine, I'll leave it all behind once again, and in another number Out of the gates and the narrow and the straight, I hope they let me keep the stripy jumper. And no, never in the livelong day shall I find me back in Durham jail. No, never in the livelong day shall I find me back in Durham jail. Thank you.
Sorry, Phil. Can I just remind the people at home that this is Jez's job, and if everybody who watched this evening donated £2 to Jez, he'd be able to get himself a stotty cake from Greg's, and that would be brilliant. So please, if you could. And also he has CDs which are available from
Me, jezlowe.com.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent. Back to him. Thank you.
It's like commercial television. It's great. I've never been on ITV before. This is during the lockdown period. I actually made a new album. I usually record my stuff with my band, the Bad Pennies, but of course we couldn't get together in lockdown, so I just did it all myself. Somebody said the other night, Paul McCartney style, you just play everything yourself. And the album came out, it's called Crazy Pagan. There's a few copies left. I sold most of them, but there's a few copies of Crazy Pagan here. This is one of the songs I did. Now, there's a lot of discussion, there always has been a lot of discussion on the English folk scene about where the first folk clubs started. Was it in London? Was it in Edinburgh? Was it in Bradford? Bradford Topic Folk Club's been going since, like just after the Boer War or something like that. In Newcastle, it was the Bridge Hotel, which is still going as a folk club. And it was started in 1957 by two fellas, Johnny Handel and Louis Killen. And Johnny Handel is still alive and kicking, mad as a hatter, in a good way. Louis Killen went off to the United States. He was a big influence on folk singers in the UK when he was living here, but then in the mid-60s he went to the United States, lived over there for a long time, was a big influence over there, friends like the Clancy Brothers and Bob Dylan and stuff. And then Louis came back to the Northeast towards the end of his life, but when he came back, he was no longer Louis Killen, he was Louise Killen, which was a big surprise to everybody. But I tell you, the whole of the Tyneside folk scene, and the folk scene around the country really, and the world probably, embraced Louisa after she'd chosen to do what she did. Louisa was a big influence and a supporter of me. And the last recordings Louisa Killen did were with me on one of my albums called What Cheer. So I thought I was going to do a song about Louisa Jo Killen. Not an easy topic to write a song about, but I thought I'd give it a go. And this is the song. It's called Louisa's Choosing. Chance to meet Louisa on St. Nicholas Street. My anxious smile and timid greeting she seemed to find amusing. She swore a merry curse or two, much like she always used to do, but all else with her was strange and new. That was Louisa's choosing. singer, shanty man, husband, lover, fancy man. His songs and tunes they danced and ran, with concertina squeezing. Bold lad he was to sail away from River Tyne to Frisco Bay, but the courage he would show one day, it sure took some believing. Louise, as the wild geese fly, Louise said goodbye. So master falling night, cast enough light for life to start anew. But sometimes needs go deeper than the seeds of doubt could ever do. There she was now standing proud, as fearless as a flying cloud, as fortune's wheel never thinned the crowd of friends she once feared losing. We parted, then it wasn't long till Benny called and said she'd gone. St. Nicholas Street will miss the songs that were Louise's choosing. Louise, as the wild geese fly, Louise said goodbye. Thank you very much. Here's another radio ballad song. A song that was mentioned before, actually. We did 3 or 4 series for Radio 2 of the radio ballads, and the last one we did was the Ballad of the Great War. And it was recently Armistice Day, just the week before last. And this Ballad of Great War, it was one programme a year, every Armistice Day weekend on Radio 2, corresponding with what was happening in the First World War 100 years before. This is from the Ballad of 1916. 1916 was the Ballad of the Battle of the Somme, of course, June 1916. Somebody told me this crazy story. The BBC sent a couple of us over to Flanders, to Belgium, to do some research over there before we did the series. And when I was over there, somebody told me this crazy story. You may have heard of this already, but I hadn't at the time heard of this. Apparently in 1916, a lot of the British soldiers were taken to the front, taken to the trenches in a fleet of red double-decker London buses that were taken over on the ferry from Dover to Calais and then up to Belgium, especially to get the lads to the trenches, to the front, as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And when I heard this, I thought it was the most bloody ludicrous thing I'd ever heard of in my life. I couldn't believe it. You know, I sort of visions of, you know, Cliff Richard and the Shadows going on a summer holiday, and these lads were, you know, getting on these buses sort of thing and going into battle. Hence this song. It's called The Wrong Bus. I'm on the wrong bus. And apologies in advance. This song has to be sung in a series of very bad accents on my part. So apologies to all you fans of Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins in this one. I'm sure there's a lot of them down here. This part of the world. So this is I'm on the wrong bus. I jumped on a London omnibus to take me into work. I hopped up to the top deck for a smoke. I looked around and noticed we were going the wrong way. Is this driver drunk or playing on us a joke? Now I'm the sort of fella who enjoys a friendly jape, but I wasn't in the mood for such malarkey. When I looked around to see if anyone else had noticed too, I saw all the passengers were dressed in khaki. I'm on the wrong bus, the wrong bus. Fate has played a cruel jest on me. I'm on the wrong bus, the wrong bus. I wanted Piccadilly, now I'm off to Piccadilly. I'm on the wrong bus, the wrong bus. Oh, when will this conductor's bell go jingle? I wish I'd had the money for to buy a day return, but the ticket in me hand is just a single. Last night as I lay in the mud in a crater somewhere deep in no man's land, when suddenly a jury soldier fell into me hole with a grimace and a rifle in his hand. He shrugged his muddy shoulders and he sat down by me side with a friendly smile that banished fright and fear. I offered him some bully beef, he offered me a smoke. I said, "God blimey, Fritzy, what are you doing here?" He said, "I took the wrong bus, the wrong bus." He told me such a familiar tale. I took the wrong bus, the wrong bus. I vaunted Passionhausen, now I'm here in Passchendaele. I took the wrong bus, the wrong bus. And why we're here at all, we're none the wiser. I'm up the Swanee, he's up the Rhine, and we both want to stick it up the Kaiser. I'm up the Swanee, he's up the Rhine, and we both want to stick it up the Kaiser. Chim chimney, chim chim chiree. Thank you very much. Shall I do one more, then you have your raffle? Is that right, Morag, about time-wise? This song kind of follows on from that. This is more Second World War, really. And this is a friend of mine. I think we all had secrets from our parents when we were growing up. Is that safe to say that? I certainly did. I had secrets from my parents. A friend of mine recently lost her own parents, lost her mother, which was very sad, at a very advanced age, to be honest. But when the family were going through the old lady's belongings, as they had to do, they made a startling discovery. It turns out that it was the parents that had had a secret from the children. It turns out, at the end of the Second World War in the late 1940s, unbeknownst to anybody in the family, their mother had worked as an exotic dancer. She'd worked in the Windmill Theatre in London at a time when there was people like not about Spike Milligan, but certainly Peter Sellers and Harry Seacombe and all that sort of lot, you know, were there. And she'd worked as the fan dancer, you know, the lady with the plumes of feathers dancing around the stage. And this friend of mine, none of them had any idea that this had gone on. When they were clearing the old lady's stuff, they came across some posters and photographs and publicity sheets and stuff. And there she was in all her glory doing this thing. And it was a total shock to them. They couldn't believe it. My friend was kind of like horrified a bit, really. I mean, she told me about it, but she swore me to secrecy. And so this is a little song about it. It's called The Fan Dancer's Daughter, because that friend of mine, she was a dancer as well. And her daughter was, as a lot of little girls get into ballet and stuff. So it was obviously, even though they weren't aware of it, it was something that was in the genes. Not that she was wearing any jeans when she was doing the fan dance. So this is the fan dancer's daughter. The fan dancer finally fluttered her feathers and flew, leaving little behind for those left, but what they never knew. With the taut skin she flaunted, all wrinkled and old, what she never displayed, what she never told, the fan dancer's daughter has chanced upon boat from the blue. A box neath the bank where she died, you couldn't call hid. She long meant to put her last match to, but she never did. Under ashen books, divvies, and sepia history, ripe to unravel a silk-knotted mystery, the fan dancer's daughter is finally lifted the lid. A rich northern family hushed up their blush, I suppose, when their son took a wife from a spotlight where they never closed. After gallants and goons had wined her and dined her, she shivered as plumes quivered front and behind her. Now the fan dancer's daughter has chanced on what nobody knows. Stage door squaddies and toffs with their roses and daffs on the town. Most of them pushing up daisies, today I'll be bound. Then the beauty of youth began to forsake her. A kiss from a prince won't come now to wake her, and the fan dancer's daughter, she weeps for that queen that they crown. Yes, the fan dancer's daughter is dancing in fine feather down. There you go.
Thank you, that was lovely. Why would you be embarrassed by your mother being a dancer? But there again, I live in an ex-brothel, so what do I know? It's true. Yeah. Would you like to pull two, please? I thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, for the CD, we have Helen Cuthbert. Was that you? Oh, brilliant. Fabulous. I don't have to post it. Great. And for the toilet roll, I have Claire Biskin. That means I'll have to post it. No. Great. Fabulous. Oops. Great. Okay. So we'll have one more song from Jez, and then we get a break. And you at home, you've got to go and do something else. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Thanks very much. That was exciting, wasn't it? I'll finish this first part anyway with this one. And I've got some CDs over there, actually. I usually have some books, because the last few years I've been writing novels, but I sold them all at Dartford Folk Club the other night. But there's plenty on my website, and there's a third novel coming out beginning in next year, so watch out for that if you're interested in all that. Whoops. And I keep sort of this thing where, as I'm sure you realise, I'm not really a Geordie. Officially, I'm not a Geordie because I'm from County Durham, so I'm a bit of a southerner, really. But whenever I'm in the south, people refer to me as a Geordie, which I'm fine with that. And in 2019, I was working on a project for over about 3 or 4 months in South London, so I was down there a lot. It was a project for the National Theatre, actually. It came to note. But anyway, so there I was, and everybody else on the project was from the southeast of England, from the home counties or from the south coast. But by the end of the 3 or 4 months they were working together, they were all talking in broad Geordie accents. I'd forgotten how infectious the accent can be. And this song kind of came out of that experience. And there's a lot of Geordie-isms in this song. I don't know if you can pick them all up. And I'll finish the first part. It's just a bit of a daft one to finish with. It goes like this. Bright lights, big city of London. I wandered your streets until late, alone and a stranger at a place called Pret-a-Manger. I thought I'd pop in for some bait. One empty seat by a lass in the corner. I said, "Excuse me, pet, I'm not staying long." No sooner had I opened my mouth, she said, "You're not from down south," before I had a chance to respond. She said, "Talk to me, dirty and Geordie. That accent to me's like a drug. It gets me so high when you say why I. Come on, whisper sweet muck in me lug. Talk to me, dirty and Geordie. Your glottal stops sound so divine. Just keep it harky, I'll be flat on me back. You'll get more than a snog on the time." She said, "Call me bonny lass, say I'm champion. It makes me go weak in the legs." I thought she'd go Raj, so I finished me fudge. Next time I'll make do with a pasty from Greg's. I ran out and sped away in me micro, till a blue flashing light stopped me on the main drag. A big WPC got out and walked round to me. I said, "You want me to blow into your bag?" She said, "No, just talk to me, dirty and Geordie. Just call me hinny or pet. Talk of walls and or shields and I'll be cowping me creels. It makes me break out in a sweat. Talk to me, dirty and Geordie. I just need a good northern man. And to me all Geordies are like rock stars. From their butts to their oxters. You can be Sting and I'll be Roxanne. I took refuge in a big West End theatre. There was Romeo and Juliet up there in the dark. The actors were all going crackers, fighting like maccas and tackers on Derby Day at St James's Park. But like a fool, I'd not switched me phone off. It rang blading race as loud as can be. It made a hell of a noise, and as their lass took the poison, Romeo looked down at me. He said, "Talk to me dirty in Geordie. It makes Shakespeare sound like a numpty. Just make me squirm with your lambton worm, or a quick penker rammed up the cundy. Talk to me dirty in Geordie, like sex they say it's good for the soul." I said, "I'm glad you think I've got what it takes, but where I come from sex are just big bags we fill up with coal." Well, I'm so glad to be back on home ground now, though I have to say so much has changed. If you talk Geordie slang, people think that you're wrong in the head and look at you strange. And technology can't be ignored now. I sat in me chair and I sighed. I said, "Alexa, it's me, turn on the TV." And Alexa replied, she said, "Talk to me dirty in Geordie. It makes all me megabytes melt. I know all your sins, all your passwords and pins, so you better do as you're told. Talk to me dirty in Geordie. I've locked all your windows and doors. If you've got something to say, you better say it my way, now and forevermore. Talk to me dirty in Geordie." Thank you. See you later.
Well, that was great, man. Oh, that was just wonderful. I'd just like to thank Jez for this half. And I'd like to thank tonight's team. We've got the live streaming director, Phil, over there. Sound engineer, John. The sound was fantastic. Lots of good comments about that. Best boy cameras and auto cue, Chris. Social media, Lizzie and Danny in Galashiels. On the bar, we have John, who's doing everything this evening. And I was doing social media, so there you go. And Roger and Sandra, who are normally here on their way to Skegness Festival, they're watching. Hello, Roger and Sandra. Yeah. We'd like to see you again here, everybody. That would be great. And people watching at home, we'd like you to watch us again. If you could look at our website, you can keep up to date with everything that's happening. We've got Gavin Alexander coming next week. Gavin Alexander has been here before. He writes the most fantastic songs. Very, very good. He's a very, very good performer. You would enjoy him. It'd be lovely. And then on December the 15th, we've got a jazz night with Tony over there. And December the 16th, we've got an open mic Christmas event sort of thing. There's going to be a mic there, and apart from that, we don't know. It's going to be good, though. There's lots of people who have said they're going to come and give us a Christmas song. There won't be live streaming that evening, so you've either got to come or miss it. And then we're back in January with Moa Papillon, with her West African Cora, and a bit of Swedish, too. She's very, very good. Okay. And January the 13th, Steve Gifford. He's a local lad. He's going to come along. So thank you all for supporting Roslyn Court, for supporting live music, and keep watching us, keep doing whatever you're doing. And thanks again to Jez Lowe. My name's Morag Butler, and I'll see you next week with Gavin Alexander, I hope. Thank you very much.